Hi, I'm Kobylarczyk, a composer and arranger. In this video, I'm going to walk you through a piece I'm writing, every step I take, every milestone I hit, and hopefully a performance, or at the very least, a reading. I hope you enjoy. So right now, I have what every composer needs to start. An idea and some staff paper. So let's lay out the idea. If you're familiar with my book review series, you might know that I've got a lot of interest in traditional and folk music. Now, I could talk for a while on the debate and proper terminology, but I'll just say folk music isn't exactly the preferred term sometimes, and I'll rely on the editing Austin to leave a link to at least one part of the debate in the description. So I'll kind of be bouncing back and forth, calling it traditional, roots music, folk music, mainly because I read a lot of old papers on the subject where folk music is still the preferred term, so it's just going to slip out a lot. Now, that was a long aside, and I'm sure you're wondering why I brought it up. Simply put, because of this interest, I've been doing a lot of folk song settings focused on traditional music that's relevant to my cultural heritage and where I live, which is currently, and always has been, Wisconsin. And I'd like to continue that with this piece, which I'd like to put together for string quartet. Now, this part of the choice was really simple, because at the time of writing this part of the script, my music department at the college I attend has a string quartet coming in March, which is about a month away, to read some student pieces. I already have a more traditional art music-y type quartet that I finished that clocks in around 7 minutes. I'm excited for it, but I'd like to explore a contrasting idea of the string quartet in this piece. The other piece, the one I finished, is Bartóki. Kind of modern in its harmonies and tonalities, very fluid and shifting, takes advantage of chromaticism and some extended techniques, etc., etc. And that's not a bad thing, obviously, as it's the kind of writing I'm interested in right now, but I think there's more sides to the string quartet that I'd like to explore. To contrast, here is a short portion of the Allegro from Bartók's Fifth String Quartet, which I think was really influential to my first quartet. And here's a portion of the third movement, Très Lent, from Ravel's Quartet in F major, which I'd like to channel and explore more of in this piece. So that's the goal here. I'm going to take a folk song from either my cultural heritage, which is predominantly Polish, or from home, Wisconsin. And I really want to channel the ideas of this third movement of Ravel's string quartet. Admittedly, I don't know how this is going to work, so I'm going to experiment a bit, which is why I'm bringing you all along for the ride. Now, before I get really started writing, there's going to be a few things that needs to happen. First of all, I'm going to print off and analyze the third movement of Ravel's quartet, something I've already done half of, the printing half. And then I'm going to need to search and narrow down some folk songs I'd like and do a bit of research on them. I want to make sure that I give proper credit. I think having integrity is very important, so I like to credit any potential authors or where it's collected and who collected it, usually just in the program notes or the author's notes of the pieces I'm writing. And after that, I'll choose one, and I'll very roughly sketch out a piece, a form for the piece, specifically. This is probably going to be the longest part, finding and then sketching out. Admittedly, I'm very good at through composing, just kind of going off the cuff and writing where it takes me. And pre-planning is kind of something I need to start working on for my pieces, having a set goal in mind. And that's part of why I'm doing it here and now. Then I'll be good to start working, and I'll update you as soon as I've done so. Alright, we're back. It's been about a week, but I've finally done it. I did it a few days ago, actually. I just haven't had time to record this update. Found a folk song out of a recent acquisition of mine. If you're following the channel, you'll see the video where I talk about this before this video comes out. Just recorded it. You can tell by the shirt. But it's a little ditty called "The River in the Pines" from Mr. William Bartlett, Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Out of Franz Rickaby's Ballads and Songs of the Shanty-Boy. Which, yeah, I've just given my opinion on. I'm editing the video right after this. But I'm on to the stage now. I'm sketching out a rough form in my handy-dandy composition notebook. It's funny because it's a composition notebook that I use for composition. It's a stupid pun, I'm aware, but it keeps me entertained. So yeah, we'll be back hopefully sooner with another update. As in, I have less than a month to finish this now. And while I've sketched out some basic ideas, I probably need to finish this pretty soon. Alright, it's been about another week making this end of week 2, and I finished the first draft today. Draft's done. Went from my very simple plot to something I'm pretty happy with. It's about 5.5 minutes right now in length, and just got to add in some dynamics, do a bit of formatting to make things look good. But I think overall the structure's there. I don't know if there's going to be any major musical changes from where I've got it right now, but I'm pretty satisfied so far. I'm excited for this to be read, obviously, and I'm looking forward to showing you guys at the end of what it turned out to be. There were a few more influences on this piece than I was expecting. I know we talked about the Ravel Quartet as an influence, but I decided to draw on some Ives in an entertaining way and draw a bit on some Chopin. But all in all, I had a good time. I enjoyed the piece, and hopefully the string quartet's going to like it when they read it, and you'll all like it when you hear it. See you in the next update. So, as you might be able to tell by the shorter hair, we're post-concert, post-recording day, and, wow, ups and downs. I'll catch you up on the whole story. Tuesday, March 7th, was the day of the concert and of the day we were going to record the pieces beforehand. This would be especially helpful to me out of all the student composers because I'm planning on going to grad school. I also have a bit of an interest in audio engineering, and we decided I'd be the one doing the recordings for the whole day. So, I set up, used all the in-house equipment in our wonderful hall, which has worked flawlessly for years. Until Tuesday. Coming back after the concert, I chatted with the theater techs who were running the show that night, as we live stream most of our concerts. And they told me there had been a bit of weird radio interference that they couldn't find a source for during the live stream. And I was like, dang, that sucks. I really wish the live stream recording had turned out. That would have been an extra addition to this video. But it's fine. I've got all the recordings I took, all the video I took. Except I came back to check, and I don't. The same radio interference that had somehow made its way into the live stream made its way into every single recording I made that day. Not just of my pieces, but of my fellow classmates, and even just the test ones I did. Now, when I say radio interference, I mean quite literally radio interference. You can hear an FM talk show going on through the entire piece, as well as I wouldn't say high-pitched squeal, but like a medium-pitched squeal, somewhere around the 1,000 hertz range. I would know I was trying to edit it out for about 2 hours. But it turns out all the recordings were ruined, useless. And it was painful to hear. I'm not going to lie. Painful to find out. I was panicking. Sent an email to my advisor, the composition professor here. And we were going to look for a way to bring them back. You know, get some different recordings in somewhere else with different equipment. And I just felt my heart drop. You know, I had been working on this video for quite some time with these quartets, and the quartets sounded fantastic. During the actual performance, they were sensational. I'll admit the pre-piece talk I gave, just kind of announcing it, was a little lackluster, just because I skipped over my first quartet almost entirely. But I can include that clip because I think it's funny. But Thursday came, and I got the news that they had recorded the live stream through a separate box, as well as the main live stream they do. So to explain, the mic setup in our hall is that there's a set of flying mics hung up about halfway through the hall, and it runs through a recording system that's up in the back. It's a converted church, so it's up where the choir loft is about. And that is the only recording that happened all day that did not have radio interference in it. I got the news on Thursday, and I was elated. I had put off recording this update because I was just dreading all of it, to be honest, to just frankly come in and go, everything I did was worthless. To not have anything to show, you know, and to force the department to spend even more money to bring them back in to record again. But this weight just lifted off my shoulders on Thursday. Thursday morning I found out. I almost cried, I think. I was so relieved and so excited. So now I can share with you Austin Kobylarczyk's String Quartet No. 2, The River and the Pines. You'll also see that I have uploaded the video recording of the first one. But I'll put here, following this little update, just, you know, my introduction and then the piece itself. I'll be also including the piece in a separate video, because sometimes it's easier to just watch that than this whole, however long this thing's going to be, video. But yeah, if you've made it this far, you know, thanks for watching. I hope you stick around. I'll include another update after, once I'm almost done editing this video, because it's already turning out to be a bit of a doozy compared to my normal ones. So yeah, I hope you enjoy The River and the Pines. Hello everyone, I'm Austin Kobylarczyk, a third year here at Shanty-Boy College, studying composition, as was mentioned earlier. What you just heard was my first string quartet, and we're going to follow it up directly with the second. I'd like to say a few quick words about that piece. So much of my output recently has focused on the folk music of Wisconsin and the Great Lakes area, as it's an important tradition to our surrounding community and our cultural heritage. So this piece is based on one of those folk songs. It tells the story of a woman whose true love, as it would say in the song, goes off to work in a logging camp and never comes home. This piece kind of follows her after that. Towards the middle, you'll hear the section that I would like to think symbolizes grief. It'll be kind of obvious. It'll move on to a funeral march portraying her own death, and end with a misty, murky representation of what the afterlife might be. Thank you all for coming, and I hope you enjoy it. And that's it. That's the end of the project. And this is the end of the video. I had a blast doing this, to be quite honest. It was interesting, I think, to structure my workflow around this video. You know, trying to get a fair amount done while maintaining a update schedule, I'd almost say. Not that you were seeing live updates, you were seeing snippets of me in time as I worked on the piece. And I think that was a fascinating exercise, to be quite honest. And I enjoyed it. And I hope you all enjoyed it as well, because I was ecstatic with this premiere. I thought it was wonderful. I thought the quartet did a wonderful job. And I think the piece flowed, and it meshed very well. I could sit here and babble about my influences for days. Particularly the Ives one. Big Ives fan. But I think we'll end the video here. This took a fair bit of effort, so if you enjoyed it, leave a like, subscribe, comments. Tell me what you thought. I mean, obviously you can tell I love this quartet, but maybe you have a different opinion. If you'd like to listen to this quartet or my other quartet, feel free to check out my channel. They're in a playlist of compositions that I'm putting on YouTube. I'll leave those both up in their unedited forms rather than in a large form video like this, so you can listen to them whenever you want. Thanks. I'll see you next time.